Wade is guarding Bryant. Artest looking, gets it to Bryant. Bryant dribbling, has to put it up with the buzzer. Banks it in! He banks in the three! And the Lakers win the game!
Good morning, Syndicate members. What is going on, man? It's Wednesday. That's right. That means it's 9 a.m. That means we are live right here from Austin, Texas at Syndicate headquarters for Winning on Wednesday. I hope you guys are doing fantastic. We got some juice for y'all today, man. I can't wait to dive into it.
Let's go.
But before I introduce my partner, Joe Kampert, the king of Facebook groups, the king of trucking insurance, the tower of power that he is, I have a quick sidebar that's going to feed into what we're talking about. Yesterday, I'm sitting in a Facebook group and somebody is talking about, hey, how do we generate leads for Medicare? In what cases can we cold call or door knock? And a whole bunch of people rail on this guy that's asking this question and tell him that he's an idiot, that he hasn't ever studied AHIP, and all of these other negative comments that you can't cold call, you can't door knock in the Medicare space, and that's a bunch of garbage, and he needs to go back to restudy the AHIP and learn or get a real mentor. Thankfully, there was one really good voice of reason in there. One of my partners, Clarissa Gonzalez, that came in and told the dude, no, you can't actually cold call and door knock. There's just some ways you have to learn to do it compliantly. And I just want to dispel that real quick because we're going to get into that. Part of what we're talking about today is how to make sales through connections and networking so that if you don't want to be cold calling and door knocking, but the truth is, if you're in the Medicare space, you can cold call and door knock compliantly. It all depends on the product that you're leading with because Medicare's compliance, sales rules, and marketing rules are two little worlds. All the rules that say you can't cold call, that you can't door knock, all that applies to is Medicare Advantage and prescription drug plans, which means you cannot cold call with the intention to sell a Medicare Advantage plan on that same door knock. You could technically door knock, get your PTC, set up your 48-hour scope, and go ride it. Same with the drug plan. But all of the other products that exist in the Medicare world, Medicare supplements, hospital indemnity plans, cancer, heart, stroke, long-term care, annuities, final expense, all of that stuff is still on the table for cold calling and door knocking. So you can lead with those products as your intention. And if you realize in that call, that sales call, that, hey, no, this is going to pivot to Medicare Advantage, then just get PTC, scope them, come back 48 hours and take care of your business. But that is the absolute fact. So I just wanted to dispel that. But hey, man, if you do not want to cold call and door knock, we're going to teach you some ways that you can make sales connections through networking.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Winning on Wednesday. Appreciate y'all, as always, for tuning in. If you can, real quick, let us know that you can hear and see us in the comments. We do appreciate all of y'all tuning in, as always. If you're catching this on the replay, don't hesitate to still comment, ask any questions, and we will definitely circle back on that as well. You sitting there saying that, dude, I'm like, man, damn, I'm kind of glad I'm not in Medicare, dude. I was like, we do a lot of outbound dialing, which, I mean, obviously, again, the goal, to Tony's point, is we want the inbound to ultimately overtake the outbound, right, at some point in time. But hey, if it's slow, dude, just pick up the phone and start dialing. We're definitely not door knocking out there for PNC. I would like, hey, if you've ever actually door knocked on PNC, drop that in the comments. I will
or Medicare.
Or Medicare, but really specifically PNC. I don't know if I've ever met a single person that has door knocked.
I have either, but I don't hang out in the PNC world like you.
Selling car insurance door to door. That would be pretty impressive. But real quick, y'all, before we get going, as always, too, a shout out to our main sponsor of the show, Viva Virtual Solutions. We appreciate you and everything that you do here within the insurance syndicate, as well as on the Clearview side, as well as with hundreds of other insurance agencies. Shout out to Lily Davies, who is our producer behind the scenes. If you guys are catching this, obviously, within the Facebook group, remember, we do have all of this out on YouTube. We've got our shorts out on Instagram, TikTok, you name it. We're there. And so we appreciate you, Viva. As always, shout out to Rob Lopez. You guys do an amazing job. But you guys know what time it is, right? Before we get into it, as Tony said, again, we're going to be covering making sales through connections and networking. It's literally how me and Tony freaking met, which is how we've gotten together, which is how we've made sales together, even on the syndicate side of things, and created entities and done all kinds of shit together, which we're going to get into that. But you guys know what time it is, because it's Winning on Wednesday, y'all.
Weekly win.
Drop them in the comments. It's time for the weekly wins. We want to celebrate you guys. Drop those in the comments. Good morning. Good morning. We appreciate. Oh, I forgot my applause too. I love it. I love it. Mr. Merwin, what's a weekly win, my man?
Dude, I'm running with execution.
Okay.
And not of my sales prospects, but of my campaigns. So put a big campaign together, working with my guy, Jesus. That's my VA that handles all my social media, does my email, blogs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And as this whole Inflation Reduction Act with Medicare has been building to a bit of a punchline, I guess you could say, put our annual notice of change package together, we wrote a whole white paper on the Inflation Reduction Act and how it will have both positive and adverse effects to the Medicare Part D program and could affect our clients with things like reduced formularies, increased restrictions, increased premiums, etc. But we encourage them that, hey, we are here to help. So please get on the calendar now. Let's review your stuff. So while it doesn't seem like much, it was a pretty large campaign that we put together, including email, social media, and direct mail. So got all of that executed on time, on target, no delays. Perfect.
We like it.
Super proud of my guy, Jesus, for the help. And just, that's our weekly win, man. We got that thing launched to thousands of people. So get ready, because AEP starts in just 4 weeks, and it is going to be a showdown here at Avila headquarters.
I love it. No, I know you guys, it's crazy that AEP, I swear you guys just got done. And obviously you're not the only Medicare agent I know or hang out with. And it's like, I swear AEP was just over and now it's time again, y'all. So hopefully you guys are having an amazing prep before AEP, because it is right around the corner. Hell, technically, I guess you could already say it's here.
Pretty much here. It feels like it's here.
Right.
We're the calm before the storm, so to speak, but the anticipation is high. So what you got for a weekly win, fool?
Dude, the weekly win. All right. Some of y'all probably saw this on my personal profile. So we were, as of Friday, this past week, right? So we had basically Saturday was our last day of the month of August, and we already were having a record month. We were at about we're a little bit over 1.8 million in new business sales on the property and casualty side. Yes, we're selling commercial insurance as well, y'all. That's not just auto and home insurance. If it was auto and home insurance, I'd be even more impressed because that's a lot of policies. But we were about 1.8 million. Our best month this year so far was in May at 1.6 million, which is still amazing. I mean, doing over $1 million a month in this hard market on the property and casualty side is it's impressive, man. And we were shy about 118,000 to cross the 2 million marker. Okay. So keep in mind, Labor Day weekend, we got Saturday. All right. We probably hit 1.8. We still had a record month, but okay. I came in on Monday actually, and it was a great Labor Day for me. I came in, was able to get away from the house.
I saw you here. I was driving by the office.
Yeah.
I was going up the Lago Vista to labor in the house, and I saw you here.
It's not necessarily because I think I 100% wasn't planning on it, but I forgot to block my calendar. So I had a bunch of appointments that I had to meet, which I only had one no-show, which is actually pretty impressive on Labor Day Monday. I had a great Monday, but when I got in that morning, man, before my first meeting, I was looking at our numbers. And Clearview, now again, this is Clearview as a whole, but really, I mean, it's the 80-20 rule. When you look at the writing agents, we did over 2 million in new business sales on the property and casualty side. So that was awesome. Shout out to y'all. That's another round of a freaking applause. We couldn't do it without any of our agent partners, obviously. And that's, I mean, again, kind of making sales through networking and connections and the relationships is something that we're going to really be getting into, guys. But shout out to all of our Clearview agents and all of our partners and choosing to trust in us. Because I've never been a part of an organization that's done over 2 million, and I've definitely not seen many organizations. I mean, I know that they're out there, so don't, I get it. Okay. Like, don't quote me 100%, but I don't speak with a lot of property and casualty agencies right now in this hard market. that are even doing over $1 million a month in new business. So again, shout out to all of our Clearview agents. I think I saw Jess Suda on here as well. And Jess, there, look, speaking of Jess, over 100K in August, my best month so far. Let's freaking go. I love it. She was a huge part of that, as well as some of our other agencies that just popped off, man. And it's really cool when they're doing everything the right way as well. So shout out to all y'all. That was an amazing win for me. Seeing that on Monday, I was like, oh shit. I was like, we did it, dude. We hit over 2 million. That's freaking awesome. So we appreciate you guys. That is definitely my weekly win. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Y'all, again, we are talking about how to make sales through connections and networking.
Why is that important first?
Oh, why is it important? Gosh, I mean, it's everything in my business. It is actually, technically, Tony, it is how we met was through networks. And really it was a connection that led to a network that then that network has evolved into, so much of how Redwood was formed. And now, ultimately everything I'm doing with Clearview, the relationship is everything. I know it's crazy cliche. We hear it all the time, but what do they say, Tony? Your network is your net worth, right? And it's so true. And I know that you can speak to that as well, which is why I was actually going to give you number one there, because talking about building that strong network and how to do that is how I met Tony and how Syndicate even, came to fruition and came to be. So I was going to go ahead and let you kick it off, but I guess maybe counter why is it important? What is it?
Well, regardless of what stage you're at, but let's just talk about it from the sales agent, right? The guy that is just out there making sales every day, right? You're in a little different space. I'm in a little different space where networking plays a different degree to what we're doing. But if you're a sales guy, it still matters, because how are you going to generate sales? I opened up this whole call with cold calling and door knocking as an option. You can absolutely do that to make sales. You can run Facebook ads. You can buy direct mail campaigns, third-party leads, yada, yada, yada. Build your brand until your brand grows where it's generating inbound traffic like we're doing in Avila. Or one of the things that you can do is networking and getting networks and building referral partnerships, because that will generate leads. And those leads are phenomenal. They're like inbound leads. When I have a client, especially that refers me a prospect, understand that number one, those people generally refer in kind. So it's again why people ask me like, hey, how much, are you writing mostly Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage? I always say Medicare supplements for me personally, while Avila primarily writes Med Advantage. But the reason that I write primarily Medicare supplements is because all of my Medicare supplement clients are the ones referring me. So I'm talking to the same type of person, right? They're in the same income bracket. They're usually of a similar thought process. So when my friend Beverly sends me somebody, he's like, you need to call Tony. He's got me hooked up with the Medicare supplement. I don't pay lick. I get to go see anywhere I want. Like, give him a call. So they're already in that mindset. So it's an easy lay down sale. We all want inbound leads, right? Inbound takes a while, generating that brand or that type of presence in the marketplace where you're a person of interest and people seek you out. We've been going at it for 4 years as Avila. The phone rings occasionally, but it doesn't ring all the time where that's the only source of lead that we can handle. Certainly looking forward to that day where we all just become order takers because the phone rings like crazy because we're so good at branding and marketing. But until we get there, what do we have to do? We have to find different ways to generate leads, and referral partnerships is one of the biggest ways. And it's a space that I've really dived into deep this year, right? I've joined a BNI group. I'm working with large companies, trying to get group referrals, or not group referrals, but I'm trying to work with those groups to find the retirees that fit our niche client and get them to refer them to us. So I'm trying to get all these people together as a source for them to send their Medicare people where they know they're going to get expert level help, right? And if you think of it from that level, if you can build a network of people that are out there referring people to you, that is like a network of sales prospectors
100%.
all for you.
Yep.
Right. So building a strong network is absolutely pivotal in this business, and it can take you very, very far. I've worked with agents where their entire business is a referral model.
Yep.
My good buddy Ryan Nutter, he doesn't buy leads.
Yep.
He does some commercials. I will say he spends some money advertising on TV in his local market, but the vast majority of his leads all come from chiropractors and dentists. Emily Trevino down in Houston, same concept. She's phenomenal at working with providers to generate referrals. Absolutely outstanding. Joanne and Cameron Giardini up in Michigan. They built a whole referral network of financial partners. They just went around and started teaching financial planners about Medicare. And those guys realized, like, oh, we don't want to talk about this, but we can refer everybody to you because you're obviously an expert. They don't buy leads. They don't really market. They do some organic stuff, and that's it. So a referral network can be extremely huge, but it does take some effort to build it. And it can be basically a foundation, one of your many foundations, because if anything's true in building this business and generating sales, and not just this business, any sales business, generating leads, marketing has multiple, is a table. Let's just call it a table, and it needs multiple legs, right? You need leads, inbound leads that you're getting or buying, third-party leads. Referral marketing and networking can be one of those legs, and so forth, branding.
Absolutely.
So it can be one of those foundations that helps you build your entire platform of generating leads, of generating business, of becoming known, because that's another big part of it. If you have 40 people in a room that all think you're the expert in trucking, P&C, life insurance, Medicare, whatever it is, right? That is a group of people generating that for you. So I believe in joining professional organizations like and I can only speak in the Medicare space because that's where I'm at, but you have the National Association of Benefits and Insurance Professionals, bunch of Medicare and ACA people in there networking, building partnerships, getting to know one another in all kinds of capacities. You have NAFA, the National Association of Financial Agents, if I remember correctly. I might be a little off on that acronym. They're another one out there. I'm in another group called BNI, Business Networking Incorporated. It's the most successful networking group out there. There are numerous like it. There's all kinds of ways to build your network. And then obviously we have industry events. And if you know me, I mean, I go to a lot of events. Yeah, just look at a great example. I didn't even point at it right.
Yeah.
Right. So events are a huge part. And that was kind of what Joe was talking about. I met Joe at an event. Didn't even know we lived 2 miles from each other until we met at that event. And that sparked a relationship that just started building and building as we started getting to know each other, hanging out. We started running small networking events here in the Austin area. Shoot, now we share a building together.
Right.
And we're growing a culture together.
And I think, you know, for me, that event, shout out to Cody Askins at 8%. That's one of the events that you guys should regularly attend. Getting in that room, I swear, every year that I've gone to 8%, there's always, and again, this is more, I know I'm more kind of on the kind of recruiting and training side of things now, but as a sales agent, it is just referral partner galore, or it's somebody teaching you how to get better at sales. And that for me is what that Power Players event where I actually met Tony for the first time in person, it changed everything for me. It really did. And that was when I was still in the sales side of things, and it just unlocks the almost your potential, because I think a lot of the times we hold ourselves back, right? And you guys have heard me talk about House of Dreams and the limiting beliefs and things like that can kind of, you know, keep us from our calling type of deal. But man, that event right there, just freaking, and it was just the people in the room. And so I think, you know, there's events, you know, like freaking out the ass now. Everybody's throwing a conference. There's some type of workshop or something like that, which I'm going to get there. But it is, okay, which one should I attend? Finding the right room for you to get in that will actually help improve your sales capability, or again, whatever your sales capacity, whatever that might look like. You got to find the right room. And so we're actually doing a shameless plug here because we're starting to fill up, and I'm super excited. This week has started to pop off with ticket sales, but we are running a content creation workshop here at Syndicate HQ this month. We're actually 16 days away. It is September 20th. Okay, it is a one-day event. That is a Friday, September 20th here in Austin, Texas. Lily, if you could, go ahead and drop that link in the comments for the registration. Guys, there's general admission, and then there's VIP tickets. Highly encourage you to check out the VIP for the full-day experience. You get lapel mics, ring light, selfie sticks. We're going to go, we have a professional team coming here to Austin, Texas. We're going to go out and shoot content around the city. It's going to be freaking awesome. It's going to be a blast. We've got lunch, dinner, party, you name it, content creation workshop here in Austin, Texas. Again, message below, comment below if you're interested. Lily should be dropping that link in there. If not, I'll circle back around and make sure we drop that in here. But it's going to be, again, it's what's the right event? Well, we got Elle Denning, we got David Denning, we got myself, we got Tony, we got Matt Murray, who is now coming to attend and also speak because he knows, hey, this is something that he was struggling with was, man, I can tell when I put out content, I crush, right? But then it's like days go by where, man, I really don't want to take the time to do that. Well, hey, come to the content creation workshop and let us help you create 6 months of content so you can go home with it and be consistent and see the power of it. But again, shout 8% is another great event. $1 Million Mastermind is a new one that I just attended for the first time this year with Ryan Stuman, who is also going to be at the content creation workshop here in Austin, Texas. But just some great events out there. What's Brindle's seven figure summit, another great event, and that's more going to be on the Medicare side of things. But who's to say that and I've been to Medicare Con. Shout out to Justin Brock and Medicare Con, also another great event. I'm a PNC guy that barely even knows how to spell Medicare, but man, every time I
made money at Medicare,
I made money because
like 30 grand.
It's because, again, y'all, I think you're limiting yourself from getting in the rooms where you're not necessarily seeing the potential of the referral partner of. And again, I know I'm sitting in a different seat, but for the sales agent too, it makes sense to even go to different industry events, different verticals within the industry, because I promise you, if you actually go and, well, you have to network, you do have to shake some hands and look people in the eye, but you will get something out of it. So
yeah,
you got to build a strong network. It's so important.
It's what you make of it as far as the event. Like, for example, and usually the way I pick an event, unless I'm invited to be a speaker, that's a different story. But if I'm going to attend for my own purpose, my own desire for value, the first thing I think about is, number one, who's the audience at the event? Is that an audience that I can quickly network with and find value? But more importantly, is there a certain problem in my business that I'm trying to solve?
Yeah.
Right. Is there something, and is that person or is that topic going to be covered at that event? Like, if I know that that person's going to be attending the event that I need to meet, that I know can help me solve that problem, there's one reason. Number two, or I know that a speaker is going to be hitting that topic, and there will be other people probably trying to solve the same problem I'm solving. We can network together, mastermind, figure it out, and get it done. I solved a huge problem for my business at Medicare Con this last year, and that was the primary reason I went, other than just the value of the event in general, to see all my friends in the Medicare space. There was one problem I was trying to solve. Went there, heard it twice, heard it once from stage and heard it like in a room. And I'm like, all right, I got to go find that guy. Where is he? Went and found that guy, solved my problem, piece of cake. So that's one, when I'm thinking about which event to go to, number one, is there a problem in my business that I need to solve? And can I get that information there? If that's a no, then, well, what is another reason why that event might have value to you? Is there going to be a level of networking with your audience that might be there? And then you take a guy like Joe that goes to Medicare Con. He can't even spell. He doesn't even know if it's Medicare or Medicaid. He's a PNC dude. He has zero relation to Medicare other than he rooms with the guy here at the office. But because he is such a phenomenal networker, phenomenal salesperson, he sets up his booth. It's the simplest booth in the entire expo hall. And the dude talks to people that walk by, just has conversations with them, and leaves Medicare Con $30,000 richer. Like, so sometimes it is literally what you make of the event when you get there.
Yeah.
You can't just show up to the event and expect to be spoon fed sometimes to get true value out of it. So go and extract the value is really kind of sidebar of what I was trying to say there.
No, 100%. I think, and it's a perfect segue into like what you were saying. It's, hey, I met a guy. He helped me solve my problem, right? So you've created the relationship by going to the event. But then number two, y'all, is how to leverage the existing relationships that you already have. I've been saying this more and more, but I always have to give you a shout out, Rebecca Davis, is so many of y'all have the back door wide open when it comes to your clients, when it comes to your referral partners, when it comes to just any existing relationship. Anybody can sell a new policy, right? But it is cheaper to keep a policy than it is to go get a new one. What are you doing to leverage your existing relationships? And those leveraging that and staying in contact with your existing book of business with your clients will lead to more referrals and more connections and more relationships. The actionable tip here is to maintain regular contact with past and current clients. Here it is right here. Ask for referrals and keep them updated on your services. Ask for the referral and keep them updated on your services. For Tony, I know he's got a new plan that he's been rolling out that I know that you're trying to get in the agent's hands as well, but you best believe he let the client know, hey man, I've got a new plan out there, right? Or he's talking about the white paper that he sent out, right? It's updating people on what's to come and what are those services. And then what do you know? I guarantee you he'll be getting inbound calls from that or whatever. And it goes the same way for property and casualty, y'all. Our money is in the residual stream of income. And so keeping in contact with the existing relationships will help that business get stickier, but then also give you more of your ideal client avatar because that's already your client. So who do you think they know? People in the same like kind or similar freaking situation that they are. So why are we not asking them for referrals? One thing, Tim Gaspar, I think is his last name. The Big Leap was a book when I was doing the 100-day thing that I read, and it was basically his launch into basically bankrupting another company, getting into insurance, and then exiting with at a 7-figure multiple or 7 figures. And so it was called the lunch list. You should never have lunch alone. And just so what's your lunch list look like, right? So in building that list, and whether that's again, whether you're actually going and getting coffee with them or going and getting lunch, but maybe that lunch list is just, hey, here's the people who I'm going to reach out to today and see how they're doing and check in on them. Hey, let them know that, hey, by the way, I do offer life insurance, or I offer, other ancillary products and not just auto and home insurance. Oh, you own a business, right? I mean, just those types of things. So, but what are you doing to leverage your existing relationships? I know how important it is on the Medicare side. I see Josh Youngs does a great job with this. Rebecca Davis, again, does a great job with this, with just appreciation events, right? And just staying in front of it, leveraging those clients. And I guarantee you I don't know, again, on y'all side, I don't know if you get scopes or you just get appointments to go get the scope from these appreciation events. Well, that dude probably fills his calendar just by going and getting lunch with people, man, with his existing clients. Not new clients, with the existing. That's what we're talking about, is leveraging that existing relationship.
Absolutely. And it comes down to that whole thought process of degrees of separation. Like, who can introduce, this is my first degree. Like if you go to LinkedIn, it tells you all that. This is a first degree connection, second degree, third degree, whatever, right? That's a huge part of it. You don't know who your clients know and can introduce you to,
right,
or your other relationships, unless you're staying in contact with them, talking to them, telling them about what you're doing. They'll be like, oh, I didn't know you do that. Or, hey, remember the story at Power Players that Brock told about he solved some Medicare problem for some person that was in this affiliation or large group of people. And he did such a good job, and he stayed in touch with them. And during a follow-up, they said, hey, I really appreciate it. Let me introduce you to all of these people. And then before he knew it, he was in a room with about 150 or so people that all had the exact same problem that he had solved for the other person. And the next thing you know, he spent like the next week or so just writing several hundred applications.
Yeah.
And he was like, his whole talk was little things lead to big things. You remember that story? That is exactly what we're talking about here, right? You don't know who your first degree connections always know. I mean, a LinkedIn will tell you, but you don't always know that. So sometimes your client can introduce you to another group of people that may be much larger. It could be an affiliation. This happened to Grace. She took really good care of one of her clients. First referral was his wife, or maybe it was vice versa. And then next referral was their church. And the next thing you know, same thing. We did a seminar for the whole church, wrote a bunch more people. So leveraging those existing relationships is huge. I did it really well at PSM. And this is, again, shout out to my man, Cody. Like, he got me in the rooms where I was surrounded with people that I could easily do business with.
Yep.
So it wasn't necessarily that I could do business with Cody, but there was a bunch of people hanging out with him that I definitely could do business with. I mean, at Power Players, I'm not going to name any of the names because some people get offended by that. But at Power Players, there were several guys at that event that shortly after it, or at least within the next 6 months, started putting their Medicare contracts with me. And that relationship sparked something that ultimately my income doubled over in about 18 months.
Not going to complain about that. Leverage your existing relationships. I see Jerry commenting. Those are huge. And shout out to Jerry, right? Where Jerry's my trucking guy. And we have this huge, $500,000 account that we closed because we reached out to Jerry. Jerry's like, I know a guy. And it even works on even on the recruiting side or your rep side of things. Who do your reps know that maybe they can introduce you to, or maybe they can reach out? I love that you use that description of the layers, because you never know unless you ask, right? Some of y'all just have it in your email signature, which is fine. You should have that too. Ask for the freaking referral, stay in front of your clients, get that lunch list together. And that leads us to number 3, which I'm going to let Tony kick off, which is it's effective networking strategies.
Yeah. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying about when you're picking your event, right? Be targeted about it. Don't just, and if you do happen to be like a Joe and you just roll into a Medicare event, even though you have no business being there, make it worth your, find a way to make it worth your while. But ultimately, like, have a targeted approach. Who am I trying to meet? What information am I trying to get out there? Maybe if I am in a sales and marketing role, like, who am I trying to meet? Like, and whether you're doing it as a sponsor level or not, like, you should be bringing value to if you're trying to build a network of people as well. But know who's going to the event. A lot of, at least at the speaking level, if you're going to go to an event, they all publish their speakers because that's what they're using to attract people to the event.
Right.
So look at that list of speakers and be like, who in there do I want to meet? What topic do I want to make sure I'm attending? Who else is interested in that same topic, that same person? Who can that person, who are their second degree connections that they can introduce me to, right? Be targeted in how you approach that event and work it. Don't just go to the event and sit there and listen and maybe take a few notes and then go have a 2-hour lunch and then you cut out of the event at 3 because it's happy hour or whatever. And I'm not saying that there's not value in the lobbies versus the inside the event. There's 100% value in the lobbies, but the difference is a lot of those people that are in the lobbies, they're engaged. They're purposefully networking with people that are in the lobby that they want to meet, that they want to talk to. Certainly some of them are out there just gossiping and doing whatever. Fine, that's on them, but don't be that person. Go to an event and get value. Make it your deal. Just like somebody gives you a call list of people, you don't just stare at it and hope that it generates business for you. You have to pick up the phone and execute. Same thing. If you're going to go to an event, don't just sit there and stare at it. Execute on the event. Bring some value. Get some value. Be targeted in how you're going to work that event, what you can get from it.
Yes, 100%. And I think, how you, and this is more how to network within your book of business as well, y'all, is just be different. Are you doing thank you cards, right? Are you sending anything? Tony, what you were doing there for a little bit was sending the neon signs to some of those clients or those people that had moved their contracts to you, right? Where it's like, hey, shout out to, I have to give a shout out because it's probably the best thing I've ever received. But I'll never forget who she is and the relationship that we have and just the events that we've gone to and the referrals that have been exchanged from Medicare Misty. But one day, I'm like, what is this? And I open it up and it's a freaking bobblehead of me. And it's got a hat. It's got my little, back in my old office, y'all, if you guys have been watching the show for however many years, my old office where I had my little jobber headset. I had a Lakers Kobe jersey on. She even had it because I can't really grow facial hair. I don't know if you can see it. I'm starting to try and grow it out a little bit. But I could only grow a neck beard. So even the bobblehead has a freaking neck beard on it with a Lakers jersey. I mean, that's so different. And a shout out to rest in peace, and your family is still in our prayers. The late, great John Rulin in Giftology. Mm-hmm. I mean, just having those custom gifts that totally separate you from the noise. And don't get me wrong, thank you cards are still really good. I think having those follow-up touches, right, is really good. But be different when you're networking within your client base as well, because, again, you never know who they know. So do something a little bit different. Think a little bit outside of the box, something like a Giftology where maybe it is some Cutco knives, but they're like some custom Cutco knives, right? Or to Tony's point, okay, who are the clients that I want to get in front of? Let's do some research on them. Okay, got it. What do they like, right? And that's where you can leverage really social media and all those things to do your homework to try and figure those things out. Because that right there, that bobblehead, which is sitting on my desk still to this day, I'll never forget that. And I'm not ever going to throw that away or move. Like, it's going to be on my desk because I freaking love it. It's a bobblehead of Joe. Like, what? But it's like, boom, instantly different. I'm like, oh, Medicare Misty. I love her. So shout out to Medicare. I haven't seen you in a while, Medicare Misty. But
she's been grinding. I've been watching her. She's grinding.
I love it.
She's really working on branding and building up her branding strategy, so to speak. But I've been watching her from the bushes.
Well, so number 4, real quick. So the first one is building a strong network. Okay. 2 is leveraging existing relationships. 3 is effective networking strategies. And then number 4 is building trust and credibility. We're gonna pivot here a little bit because I think it's something that Tony actually brought up this morning. And I think it's just perfect when it comes to how effective ways for you to build trust and credibility. This is with agents. So if you're on maybe the wholesale or the recruiting side, and this is obviously is with your clients and your book of business, regardless of the line of business that you sell. But I'll go ahead and let Tony kind of kick this off just because it comes from his group and what they were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, it's important that you build trust with your network, right? Because if they're going to refer you someone, they want to know that you're taking care of them properly, right? And they want to know that there's value there. And obviously, there's a few ways that you can do that. But one of the best ways that I think is a philosophy that I've learned as I've joined the BNI group that I'm working in. And if there's a I'm just going to tell you right now, if there's a BNI group in your area, go visit it. It won't cost you anything more than lunch for the day to go visit the group, see who's in the group, does it have value, etc. And you can actually, I believe you can go on to one of their regional websites in your metropolitan area and actually look at the groups from that angle too. But go check out a BNI group first, because they will let you visit. You don't have to join it immediately. But getting in that BNI group, they have a very specific philosophy in how they basically run their business or run their group, so to speak. And it's a philosophy called Givers Gain. Givers as in I give, Givers, gain. And we've talked about that Joe talks about it a lot when it comes to building referral partnerships, building networking partnerships, is it should be a two-way street most of the time. There should be value on both sides of the fence, right? And if you want to network with someone, if you want to build a referral partnership, you should be bringing value first as much as possible. And then put the, as Joshua Youngs calls it, the obligation of reciprocation back on them.
That.
And most of the time, if someone does something for you, something nice, loan you money, fix a tire, refer some business to you that makes you a bunch of money, you have everybody think about it, man. You have a sense of obligation. Like, man, I gotta
kind of hook him
do
up.
something.
Right.
You know, whether it's send them a thank you card with maybe a gift card in it of some sort, maybe give back a referral, introduce them to someone, however that works. But I love the philosophy that BNI takes with Givers Gain, because if you approach the group with the idea of like, hey, how can I constantly bring value? Here's all of these people in all these different industries. Who do I know that can help these people, or who do I know that these people can help? Right. And how can I come to the group with value, not just come to the group and be like, oh, wow, here's 42 people that are all going to send me business and just be a vulture. You have to take a philosophy of giving. And when you do that, you put those people again in a space of obligation of reciprocation. So how Givers Gain works is based on your motivation when giving value. If you're giving value just with the motivation to get value, like you're probably not giving authentic value. It's not going to come off well. You're probably not going to deliver any real execution or back end proof of concept on that value that you're offering, because you're just kind of throwing up some air in hopes that somebody might give you some real grease. But the motivation is what's key. So they have 5 items that they list as motivation and giving that builds the Givers Gain philosophy. The first one is that we give because we understand that in a community, what we do, others will do, and we will all benefit, right? And that is very true. Like, I watch this group of people that I'm associated with in BNI, and it's a very engaged group. It's not a group of people just sitting there hoping for business to come. Like, they're all motivated to, how do I find other people in this group business, because they know that if I'm doing this, others will do it. We will all benefit. And that's why in 12 months, they've raised almost $2 million collectively as a group through referrals. Number 2 is that we give because we know that in the same situation, others would do the same for us. And I think the best way to actually look at that one is the golden rule: treat other people like you want them to treat you.
Preach.
And if you believe that someone would do the same thing for you in that situation, then you should be doing it as well. Number 3 is we give because we want to give back where we have profited before. And that's, again, goes back to what I said immediately, the obligation of reciprocation, right? If someone gives me a great referral and I make a great amount of money on it, and I know it's a beneficial relationship, I want to give because I've profited in that space before myself, right? And I know that if I do it, what's going to happen? I'm going to reinforce more value.
Rinse, repeat.
I'm reinforcing that person to continue to refer me, because every time they refer me, I'm giving back. And in some cases, that could be you paying for the referral, because, hey, maybe I don't have any real value that I can refer up to that person, because I'm just not, like, say a CPA, and I'm just going to throw something random out there. Let's say I have a CPA that I work with, and they refer me a ton of Medicare clients, but I don't really have any business associates that either don't already have a CPA, and I'm not really referring much business up there to them. So it's kind of a loss in value there. But what I can do is I can pay that person for the referral. I could send them a thank you card for the referral. I could send them a beautiful gift for the referral, right? Anything that reinforces that I'm super appreciative of what you're doing because you're helping me grow my business. right?
Yes.
So again, we give because we want to give where we have profited before, reinforce those referrals. Number 4, we give because when we work together, we get bigger and better results than working on our own. That one goes without saying. 2 heads are better than one. You put a group of people together that are all working towards the same goal, they're going to do it better than a single person good. And then we can throw out my favorite cliche that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Number 5, we give because we enjoy it. And I think that's the most important one. And not to take this whole topic somewhere else, but this whole philosophy of giver's gain is beautiful. And again, the last one, we give because we enjoy it. Do you lead your business and with the servant mentality to give? Or are you just out here as a vulture siphoning, on the teat of profit and revenue? I don't know. But are you a giver and do you really enjoy it? I find that I get the best smiles, the best internal sense of well-being when I'm giving or serving other people.
Yeah.
So if I know that I enjoy doing that, well, then lean into it, man.
If you don't, I think insurance might be the wrong place
for you.
Yeah. It's like we are here to serve others, and we just get rewarded handsomely for it. Jerry Conwell, shout out, Jerry. You've been on the whole show today. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, dude. Yeah. But he says in the comments, execution on your promises to clients is a great way to gain trust and credibility.
Absolutely.
You beat me to the freaking punch, because the actionable tip on this, y'all, is to demonstrate expertise through valuable content. If you need help with that, Content Creation Workshop, September 20th, Austin, Texas. Okay. Drop the link in the comment or hit the link in the comments. We'd love to see you there. Okay. But expertise through valuable content, be transparent, and deliver on promises to build and maintain trust within that network. So you actually, again, I think, grabbing the relationship, getting the referrals, please make sure you execute on that, right? And again, I know that we're not all perfect, and stuff will slip through the cracks. I've had that, and I've even had it just recently. It's like, oh crap, I missed that, my bad, right? But as long as you're transparent and you tell them, hey, and then you pick it back up and you're right there, but you can't let too much slip through the cracks. Otherwise, guys, you're not delivering, right? And you've got to hold true to that. Otherwise, I mean, what's the point of them referring you business, whether that's on the client side or on the agent side? But before we move to number 5, which is utilizing social media and online platforms, which you guys know we talk a lot about that. It's literally, it's what we're doing right now. I wanted to touch on 3 that you were talking about there, Tony, where it says we give because we want to give back where we have profited before.
Okay.
I look at this also on my side of things, and also even, when you were on the wholesale side is, I didn't have a Joe. And a lot of why I give back to the we'll call it the industry or the community of agents, right? Or even insurance syndicate, or all these agents that, hey, I'm trying to get into trucking and I don't necessarily have the funds right now. Screw it, dude. Here's my whole freaking, here's everything, dude. And go, and all I need is basically a positive review, and that's it. But I give because, dude, you know how long it took me to figure some of this freaking crap out, man. I mean, I love seeing it now. It's so rewarding. I enjoy it so much to see agents doing in 3 to 6 months that took me, 3 to 4 years to freaking figure out. And I say that as words of encouragement to the agent that maybe has the secret sauce mentality, that's trying to kind of keep it all with. I could totally not be helping other business owners out. I could just be scaling my own agency and have my own internal producers and my employees, which I do. I have that, right? But it's so much more than just keeping it that close to chest, right? You got to have some of that, but you got to give back. And I'm telling you, man, it's so rewarding. And again, this is kind of more on the agent side, but help other agents. If you're finding success, share the success, be transparent, put it together in some valuable content, put it out there. And again, when you give, you guys hear me say this all the time, when you give, you get, and a lot of the times when your intention is the right, your motivation is correct when giving, typically the get back is like tenfold. It's pretty crazy. So I love that you brought that up, and I love that the B&I, like your group, really kind of leans on that. I think that's super important.
Brandon Clay says it really well. You serve to deserve.
Oh, Brandon Clay. I haven't seen him in quite a while.
He's doing very well.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. He was doing really well the last time I saw him, which is years ago too. All right, guys, number 5. Okay, number 5 is utilizing social media and online platforms. You guys know it. We're on it right now. We're talking about it. It's why we put this show together, is to, help agents and really going from building trust and credibility the importance of social media and online platforms is because it offers a vast network of potential clients and industry connections. Tony was just talking about it on LinkedIn. How they built a majority of their business through content on social media and other online platforms. So obviously, LinkedIn is good. Facebook obviously is my bread and butter. I love Facebook. You've got your Instagram. You even got shout out to Brandon Thomas. It was just happy belated. I know it's just your birthday. The dude's still slinging life insurance on freaking Twitter. I mean, so it's still, or I guess it's X now. Sorry, I'm not on that one, right? Or TikTok. Shout out to Jeff Hanna, who's partnered with us on the mortgage-free life side of things. The dude is selling crazy amounts of index universal life, and then other annuities and other financial products and tax planning, all kinds of shit from TikTok videos, man. He's gone viral like crazy. Nick Saka, you guys have seen his stuff. He actually just did a workshop as well on content creation. The guy has gone viral multiple times this year. Like one of his videos had like over 13 million views. He's not putting any money behind it, right? It goes back to putting the valuable content together and then just putting it out there on these social media platforms. So if you're not using social, I know I'm not going to sit here and beat a dead horse. We've all heard it. Every course out there is telling you need to be on social media. So there's a trend there. Just be careful of the course you buy, or maybe you shouldn't even be buying a course. You can just catch it here in the Insurance Syndicate for free. But guys, we've got to be leveraging social media to get in front of people. And that goes back to, I think, what Tony was talking about with events, is making sure before you go out there and start using social media, make sure you understand the type of client you're trying to get in front of. I talk about it a lot when using Facebook and the Facebook groups and working those groups. Make sure it is congruent with your business model. I'm not in all these trucking groups because I don't do trucking insurance, right? So I'm in it because, hey, this is my ideal client. I am trying to get in front of them, and it's free. And I tell everybody this, I don't spend a dime other than time. You guys need to be on social media. You need to be on other online platforms. It's just freaking pivotal, man.
It's the multiplier.
Yep.
It's the great multiplier that allows you to get in front of tons of people very quickly.
Yes.
And this makes networking in social media so much more important. And then going back to LinkedIn, what I said earlier, LinkedIn will tell you who, and Facebook does it too, but LinkedIn does it better. It will tell you who your connections know. And it'll put people in front of you like, hey, man, this is a second-degree connection. They know some people and maybe, is this someone that you want to meet?
Yep.
Right? And you can certainly utilize it in that fashion. Facebook does it somewhat, but not nearly to the level that LinkedIn does on that. So definitely use that. When I was at PSM, I used LinkedIn a lot more because I was business to business. I'm looking for insurance agents, right? And I leveraged LinkedIn in a few ways. One, to look through the connections and those kind of degrees or layers so that I could target people that way and find people that can help me get introduced to someone else. And then I've gravitated certainly more to Facebook as my roles and kind of my business has evolved some. But it's a phenomenal tool in of itself. And the way I was going to think of this, one of the things I really love about LinkedIn, and if you have a Facebook business page, this works great. When you talk to your initial target, first time phone or face-to-face, and you haven't met on social media, go follow up with that social media connection.
Yeah. I
built a lot of great relationships while I was at PSM with agents that I would talk to about doing business with me as an agent. And they'd be like, well, and the only data point they have is this voice on the phone.
Right.
They haven't seen me. They don't know anything about me other than what I've said. And they're like, well, he said all these great things about him. He could be full of shit. And they have one data point to work with. So I want to give them more data points. So I have a really good LinkedIn page. It's got a ton of recommendations on it. It's got a ton of great info about me. It's got feature articles and feature videos. I could send that to someone and they see it and they're like, oh, wow, this dude's legit. He is an expert in the industry and someone I should probably be talking to and listening to. It strengthens that connection. That's a great way that you can use social media as a reinforcement of the relationships that you spark or ignite through a phone call or through a simple face-to-face meeting of some sort.
But Tony, I don't want them following my personal profile and seeing pictures of my family. Well, then you ain't using it as a business tool, so you should probably not even have it up while you're at work, right? I mean, what are we doing, guys? Like, you want your clients and your agents and your partners to see who you are. Like, just because we're in insurance doesn't mean we're freaking robots.
Yeah.
And I tell everybody, well, that's for my personal stuff. Well, then just stop using it, right? Or just do it after hours. But even again, you're missing the whole point.
What are you doing that's so personal
that
You're
you don't
afraid
want
your
any
business associates see
right.
it.
Well, and it's kind of the next point before we start to wrap up here, y'all, is it gets you engaged in other discussions. I can't tell you, man, how many conversations or calls or discussions I've gotten onto because of a conversation or a discussion that I got into within a Facebook group or within a comment section or within, I mean, it's wild, bro. It's like I'm on a call with a dude like who has like biologicals and nanomites and freaking, I don't even microbiologicals like that can turn wastewater into freaking reusable water. Like, what the hell am I even doing on that call? Right. But it was because of a conversation from a relationship that led to a podcast, that led to a follow-up call, that led to this. I mean, it's like, freaking what, dude? But it allows you to engage in discussions and conversations because, y'all, what type of business are we in? We are in a relationship business. Obviously, transactions take place, but those conversations and discussions allow people to relate to you, to get to know you, to know, like, and trust you, right? That builds that relationship that ultimately, hopefully, turns to a transaction where you're driving some revenue to the business. Okay, so you've got to be utilizing social media. We'll go ahead and move on from there. If you guys have questions or, again, you need any help creating the content, come to the content creation workshop September 20th here in Austin. We'd love to have you here in office. But number 6, follow-up and relationship maintenance. Tony, I'm going to go ahead and let you take that on. I think you guys do a great job on that. And really, again, I think it's so much more necessary on the Medicare side because of how different of the business it is, but it is super important on the property and casualty side as well because of how commoditized we are, right? Like you got to, they'll leave you just as fast as they signed up with you. What are you doing to really maintain that relationship? You know?
Yeah. And you said it just a second ago, we're in a relationship business, right? Whether it's relationships that I have with referral partners or business partners, or it's the relationships that I have with my direct clients that I'm servicing, it's a relationship business. If you've heard me talk about it, I'll tell you that in insurance, there's 8 specific relationships that are foundational that you can utilize to grow. So the best way to maintain relationships is to stay in touch with them, right? I know that we all have that old high school buddy that we haven't seen for 20 years, and then we call him and we pick up like we've never left each other's side, and guys are kind of weird like that. But when it comes to business and clients and networking and referral partners, it ain't like that so much, right? Especially if you want an exchange of value, like, sure, I can not see a business partner for 10 years and be like, oh man, it's great to see you and that, but is there any value getting exchanged there? No, we're just 2 pals, right? But if it's people that you're going to have not a transactional relationship with, but a relationship that continues to deliver value back and forth and build on it, you got to stay in touch with each other in some form. My buddy Ali Salah says this the best, and he's phenomenal at it. He's so phenomenal at calling me. Sometimes I don't answer his calls because he follows up a lot. Love you, Ali. But his thing is the 5 M's. More meetings means more money.
Yes.
So if
Love
you want more referrals from one of your referral partners, you need to be hanging out with them and talk to them every once in a while. Thank them. Just pick up the phone. And you don't have to call them and be like, hey, do you have another referral? That's not going to just call him and thank him for a referral that he gave you 3 months ago again. And maybe you've already thanked him for that. But maybe it's just top of your mind and you just wanted to give him a call and say, hey, man, Fred, I just want to say, dude, I really appreciate it. Some of those referrals you gave me. I was actually just talking to that client you sent me the other day or a few months ago, Margaret. And she's doing great and just super happy. And she also mentioned that she's doing some business with you. And I just wanted to give you a buzz and say thanks, man. And by the way, hey, you got any time maybe to meet for lunch this week?
Lunch list. Right.
Right. Build your lunch list of referral partners and contacts that you can talk to, clients, friends, business partners, whoever it is, do that. We already know that we have to touch our clients multiple times throughout the year in a lot of cases to make sure that they stay our clients. Right. And certainly true in Medicare because people are trying to snipe your Medicare people all the time. PNC, maybe not as much. Maybe I need to stay in touch with that dude once every 6 months, maybe once every quarter, renewal times, and see if he's got more trucks or if his business has changed. But that's it. But if the same philosophy applies to your networking referral partnerships, if they refer you once and you write some business and you've never thanked them and you kind of lose touch, they ain't giving you any more business, man. They're going to find someone else to give that client to. So stay in touch of them, stay top of mind, put them on an email list. If you're one of the, if you have a valuable email list, right? Put them on your lunch list, send them a gift every once in a while, birthday cards, holiday, Christmas card, whatever you can do to keep yourself in front of that person do it as often as you can.
Well, and there's a very effective way to do this. Here's your guys' action item. You've seen the company now. This will be the third time you've seen it on the podcast this week. But Monday Mindset with Luke Akery and Reminder Media. Yesterday on Tuesday Training with Andrew Saxa with Reminder Media. Okay, an amazing tool. I literally spend $250 a quarter for magazines. Reminder Media, check them out. Reminder Media, again, Luke Akery, who runs our Monday Mindset show, and then his RVP was just on Tuesday Training yesterday with Tony, who's like the freaking road. I think he was saying like he goes to 40, 60 conferences a year, which is just insane to me.
Out of control.
But their kind of flagship product is their magazine. And it's great. It's customizable. I just rebranded mine and everything. It's funny. I just got the email, I think yesterday, that it's shipping out. But this is a great way, and you can actually send the magazines directly to your clientele as well from within their dashboard. But y'all check it out. Reminder Media, hit up Andrew, hit up Luke. You guys, it's a very effective way to stay in front of some of your top clients or to your agents, right? If you have a big downline or a bunch of agent partners, that's another effective way too to stay in front of them and show them, hey, look, it goes back to Medicare Misty.
Mm-hmm.
How many of y'all are getting, customized magazines from your insurance agent? Even though maybe it's just a magazine, but it's costing you pennies, and literally you stay in front of them. It's like, oh, wow. Like, look at that, Joe. And it's like, and it's got recipes and it's got shit about, staying healthy and eating healthy or whatever. Right. So great one. I had to give a shout out to Reminder Media. I personally use them. They're awesome. I use them actually for some recruiting ads and stuff as well. First time ever running ads and spending money on that side of things. Just wanted to try it out, and it's been going it's going amazing.
I was thinking about doing that to my BNI group.
Yeah.
Put them on a Reminder Media magazine
Just
list.
do it for them. Yeah, I like that. So Reminder Media, check them out. But follow up and relationship maintenance. So real quick, the 6 y'all that we've talked about today as we wrap up is building a strong network. Okay, and all of this, is about making sales through connections and networking. 1 is building a strong network. 2, leveraging existing relationships. 3, effective networking strategies. 4, building trust and credibility. 5, utilizing social media and online platforms. And number 6 is follow-up and relationship maintenance. If you're doing all of those things and you've watched the show and you heard everything that we're dropping on here, you are going to make more sales, whether that's on the recruiting side, which is an override type sale, or whether that's on the client side where you're just adding people to the book of business through value, through trust, right, through relationship, through servant-driven motivation. And again, when you give, you freaking get back. So
let's be honest, dude. You could suck at sales.
Yeah.
But if you're constantly in front of people, you're still going to make money. Like, that's the whole game,
Yep.
I mean, there was, for the longest time, like, the only reason I made money in this game is because I constantly was getting in front of people over and over and over and over and over. And Wetmore talks about this. Eventually your sales skills and your reps will grow, or your sales skills will grow through the reps that you're putting in.
Yep.
Same thing applies here, man. This is a great way just to accelerate or increase the number of people that you're in front of, that you're messaging in front of, that your contact info is in front of, or that are prospecting on your behalf because they have a strong referral relationship with you.
Absolutely.
So it allows you to suck at sales a little bit more by just increasing the number of people that you're getting in front of.
And you will get better simply just because of the reps and how many people you're talking to. So, all right, y'all, it is Winning on Wednesday. Y'all know what it is. It is the peak of the week. Do not slow down. Let's finish out strong. And it's a new month, right? And for y'all Medicare folk and even health folk, right? AEP and OEP is right around the corner. So take advantage of this month. Make sure you get all your certifications and all that stuff done with your carriers. I know, depending on how many you rep, that can be a lot. So make sure you have all that in order. For property and casualty folk, just keep on keeping on. We're getting there, right? Hopefully Q4, the markets start to shift. And as we go into the new year, we should start seeing some more of that open back up to where, again, if you're making it now, gosh, when it opens back up, it's going to be it's going to be a cakewalk. So shout out to all of y'all. We appreciate you as always for tuning in. And again, if you're catching this on the replay, don't hesitate to drop any comments, ask any questions, and make sure and check out our YouTube channels as well as all of our other social media platforms. We appreciate y'all, Syndicate. Hope you guys have an amazing rest of your week. We'll see you guys later.